Male model and high-price escort Luka Magnotta was Toronto's #1 male escort when he was brought to New York City by the Russian mafia to help them with their business dealings. Most people have no idea at all about Luka Magnotta's male escort life for 15 years. Luka was constantly in demand and traveling all over the world. Society only knows a very small part of Luka's life. Luka Magnotta made many trips to Russia, all over that country. It's where his relatives were from. But mostly, he traveled to Moscow. Luka is half Russian himself on his mother's side. Luka lived in Toronto most of his life, in the predominantly Russian neighborhood, surrounded by all of his Russian friends. This is where he first became associated with the mafia and began to be entangled with members of the city's organized crime. Years later, while Luka was living in Toronto as the top male escort, these mafia men recruited Luka by blackmailing him. They had a lot of tapes of Luka in compromising situations and forced Luka to go on dates with powerful people. Luka was to obtain information about these people and report back to the organized crime heads. The information Luka obtained was used to get money out of the blackmailed victims. Luka had no choice but to participate because his life was in danger and he would be killed. Bankers, athletes, government officials, celebrities, and politicians paid a lot of money to keep their compromised info a secret. Luka was given a cut of the profits and promoted. He went to live in New York City, where he became even more successful and met more rich and famous and powerful people. Luka was dating men in the New Jersey and Manhattan Russian mafia who were extremely closeted and kept Luka a sexual secret. Luka was in too deep and couldn't remove himself from the grip of these dangerous people. The Red Mafia had a lot of business dealings and needed somebody to find women and groom them for their escorting trade. Luka was perfect at this. He would have a lot of women interested in joining the sex profession, and he recruited them for his associates. The Russian Mafia has a lot of different businesses, selling stolen cars, human trafficking, credit card fraud, drugs, identification theft. They need skilled people to run these operations between North America, Europe, and Russia. Luka was the perfect person. Luka is very intelligent and rarely traveled with his own passport or used any of his own identification or cell phones. He knew he was being tracked and monitored, and later on, records could prove his whereabouts. While in Russia, Luka had a lot of fantastic experiences. He had associates who would take him to private underground gay clubs. Luka had to be extra cautious because being gay in Russia is extremely dangerous, and all of the clubs are underground. Sometimes neo-Nazis would wait outside. Luckily, Luka was with capable men, and they had wild times at these nightclubs around Moscow. Luka later said these were some of the wildest places he's ever been. Luka spent months traveling back and forth, New York to Russia. The Russian Secret Service, KGB, once followed Luka out of his hotel and wouldn't let him out of their sight. The men befriended Luka and interrogated him in a nearby park for 5 hours. It's also common knowledge that all foreigner hotel rooms are video surveillance and their travel closely watched, so Luka had to take extra precautions to avoid these individuals. Luka traveled from St. Petersburg, where he facilitated a large financial transaction for foreign luxury vehicles. He was almost killed when the deal went wrong. St. Petersburg had a train between Moscow, and once, while Luka was traveling at night, 2 women and a very handsome man invited him to their train car. From St. Petersburg to Moscow, Luka had a real good time. In Perm, Russia, Luka was having an affair with a man. He was with this man in a car on a quiet night, in the dark on a mountain lookout. As Luka and this man were kissing, they were ambushed by 3 thugs that were held hostage for 2 hours. The thugs were trying to infiltrate and find out about the gay organization, and they tried to extract phone numbers and addresses of gays in Perm. For 2 hours, Luka and his lover refused to disclose the identities of these homosexuals and were eventually released. Russia is a very dangerous place for gays, and Luka always handled everything very professionally. Luka was sent to Archangels, Russia, where he spent 2 weeks translating English credit card information to Russian hackers, then 3 weeks in Rostov in a call center where he was forced to obtain American banking information through a phone scam. Luka never wanted to be involved in any of these situations, but was forced through blackmail and violence. The Russian mafia, according to Luka, were involved in human sex trafficking, where people were kidnapping and forced against their will to have sex in a warehouse in locked rooms. Clients would pay big money to have any sort of sex with these captive sex slaves. It was reminiscent of the film Hostel. Dark web videos were also produced, and clients could pay for any sort of disturbing film they wanted. On the dark web, it's called Red Rooms. Luka traveled to Russia countless times and eventually broke away from the Russian mafia and their grip on him. This is just another prime example of how little of Luka's life is known or covered by the lying news media. 90% of Luka's life is unknown, and all of the amateurs claiming that they know Luka's past are inaccurate. We really need an accurate film done about Luka and his life as an international male escort for 15 years that is never discussed. How this big piece of Luka's life is constantly bypassed is unfathomable. These were just some of the stories of Luka's time in Russia. I bet nobody knows of his life in Serbia, Kiev, Ukraine, or Belarus. There is more to come. Stay tuned for the truth.